guys, and welcome back to the place where we share inspiration on motherhood, work, and everything in between. So good to see you guys. Thank you so much for the positive feedback I'm getting. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for subscribing, for hitting the notification bell, and even taking your time to comment in the comment section. Guys, I really appreciate it. Now, today I want to talk about people that you found out what your purpose is, and so you've decided that, for example, the job that you're in is not working for you, and so you would like to become an entrepreneur, because that's a journey that I went through. So I'll just share a bit about what I went through. So you remember last time when we spoke and I told you what I went through, thinking I'm a politician, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to be a professor and going to be in the academics of life, and then into statistics and psychology and all of that stuff. After I'd worked in the bank doing marketing, which is my career and not my purpose, time came and I got married while I was at the bank. I had my first baby, a beautiful baby boy, and I started to look for childcare for him. And I remember wanting to get someone who could help me raise my child and not just take care of my child. So I remember looking for daycares and going there and saying, so what do you do with babies? And then they'll say things like, we carry them, we bathe them, we feed them. And I'm like, and they play with toys. And I'm like, and we teach them potty training and how to eat. And I'm like, and what more? What else do you do? And they just kept looking at me like, yeah, that's all. Like, what more do you want to be done with that child? And I remember thinking to myself, no, I want more. Like, I want to be those moms whose kids are like such great kids, even at like a party, even if I've not spent time with them. Don't judge me. Judge me very slowly. Because before you judge me, you know we have work. You know what life is like, and we have to work. So I really needed someone who would help me raise my children while I was away at work, and that if we went to a party, my kids would still have great manners, know their pleases and thank yous, and know how to pray, know how to express themselves. So I needed someone who could help me do that. And the kindergartens were just not doing that. Kindergartens and daycare centers. So I remember coming home and really frustrated. And my husband asked me, he said, but why don't you just create the thing that you're looking for? Now, of course, I knew what I wanted because I'd worked with kids all of my life. Like I told you, I realized that my calling was in church. And so because I love children, I had always been working with children. So I knew what I wanted, but I wasn't getting it. And so my husband just asked me, so why don't you just create this thing that you're looking for? And so I thought, okay, let me do that. And I remember starting the childcare center. It was called a childcare center, not a daycare center, because it needed to be open 24 hours. So 2014, 1st June, we opened the Cradle. And it was such a success. It's open 24 hours a day, because you never know when a mom needs help, man. You just don't know. So it can't be a daycare, right? So anyway, we started the Cradle. It was working well. I was still working with the bank. And then after that, there was a time when I had a presentation to make, and I remember it was such a big, huge presentation. We're trying to get 1 million subscribers into the bank. Is it subscribers? They're clients, but I wouldn't mind getting 1 million subscribers here, yeah? Let's work on it. Anyway, guys, Manuela, focus. Anyway. So we're trying to get 1 million clients into the bank. And I had this great marketing plan, and I mean, my boss had told me it was an amazing plan, amazing strategic plan. Like, it was great. Anyway, I remember at that point I just had my second baby, my beautiful baby Bianca, and just before I went to make the presentation, my breasts were engorged and they were so full of milk. And I remember just before I went into the meeting, I had to first go into the sink because there was nowhere for us to express our milk. So I had to actually express my milk down the drain. I remember crying because my daughter was going to miss this liquid gold, and I just poured away milk. I was so sad. And I remember making a decision after I'd cleaned myself up that I was done. So I went into the presentation, did a wonderful, powerful presentation. When my boss was asking me to, we're doing a debrief, he says, okay, so how do you feel you did? I said, I think I did well, but I think that was the last presentation I'll make. And 4 months later, I left the workplace. I left the corporate workplace. And to be honest with you, there's certain things that I wish someone had told me before I left, because I left so emotionally, I was so heartbroken by what had just happened, and I wish someone had told me some of the things that I want to share with you today on if you ever have to decide to leave the corporate, lifestyle into the entrepreneurship one. What are some of the things that you need to prepare? And I want to share them with you. Because I feel like no one really, really talks about it. When we hear that someone wants to leave the job, we're just like, boss, it's your work. I'm good and done with that job. Here is a the hand. Like we just really say goodbye. Not very well. So I want to see if I can help you see your workplace, your corporate job in a different way as a preparation for you to start entrepreneurship. So first things first. You need to write down your expenses as they are for you as an individual. Write down every expense you have per month. Every expense. Why? You need to stay in your corporate job for a period that allows you to save at least 6 months to 1 year, and at most 3 years of your monthly expenses. If you can stay in your job long enough to save 6 months to 1 year as a minimum and 3 years as a maximum of your expenses. Why? When you leave the corporate world, you're used to getting a certain stipend or a certain amount of money every month, and you use it for several things. Now, one of the biggest mistakes many entrepreneurs make is leave the corporate job with no money and think, oh my God, the business I'm going to create, in day one, I'm going to make money and I'm going to, have money that will meet all my expenses. And they realize, oh, hold up, that's not how it works. Entrepreneurship takes a while for you to get the money that you're hoping to get out of your career, out of your entrepreneurship. So it's important and imperative that your life remains the same. To be honest, entrepreneurship can be quite depressing if you don't have money. We go through something called, I think it's called the entrepreneur's depression, something like that. Like, it's where you just don't have enough money to live your life the way you did before, and it's quite depressing. So save up. The second thing that I would say is start to see your current job as entrepreneurship, which it is anyway. You see, if you act like you're a business that got a gig or got a job or got a client who is your current boss, you start to see things differently. So I worked in a marketing department. If I started to see myself as a marketing consultant whose client was Bank of Africa, there's so many things that would change for me, because now you're no longer working from a place of, let me say it, slavery. You're actually working from a place, from a position of power and from a position of leadership. What that means for you is you're going to do more than your average employee. Now, why would you do that? It leads into step 3. Learn, learn, learn. If you are in a position, a mental position of being in leadership because you're treating your job like you're an entrepreneur already, what happens is your job starts, your employers start to see you differently and kind of raise you to positions that you would probably have not been in if you'd stayed the same. And in those positions, you're able to learn. Here's the thing, you're going to start a business and you're currently working in a business. Where's the best place to learn? The place you're working in right now. Like, When are you going to, all the things that are happening in your current job right now, it is a business. Which things that you're doing right now are going to be done in your own business. So you want to be at a place where you literally climb the ladder so fast, so much so that you can learn from everyone around you, the different facets of your business. So I'll give you an example. While I was working in the bank and I was preparing to leave the bank, I remember getting into a position of management, and I remember I really, really wanted to be the marketing manager, managing director, no, marketing manager. And I remember what that gave me, what access that gave me was, it gave me access to all other managers in all other departments of the business. So I was speaking to the procurement person, I was speaking to the audit person, I was speaking to the person, head of retail, I was speaking to the head of the premium customers, I was speaking to head of customer service, and I was speaking to them at a level of manager to manager. And what that meant was I could ask them questions. I could ask them questions which could give me answers to then incorporate in my own business. So by the time I started my business, I had departments set up. Not that I had employees for them, but I knew that that was work that had to be done in my organization, because I realized that I was coming from a business and I was going to start a business. So what was in this other business where I was working could actually be replicated in my very own business. So yeah, the other thing that you need to do is get networks. So by the time you've been elevated in your positioning of what you've been doing in your job, and you're now speaking to managers, the next thing that you're going to do is get networks. So who are the customers of the current business that you're in? Who are the customers that could even use your product while you're done? Start to have relationships with them now, because they're the ones that are going to buy from you. Start to get relationships, start to find out who are the people who do different things for the current job that you're in. Who's the person that does the internet? Who's the person that does the painting? Who's the person that does the repairs? Who's the person that does the social media? Who's the person? Find out who those people are. Start to create relationships with them, because guess what? When you're starting your very own business, these are the same people that you could use, you know? Next, 5, research on the business you want to do, guys. Just because someone has done a business does not mean it will work for you. No. That's why you have so many businesses start up and end as fast as they started up. Guys, do your research. I know many people call me up and say, hey, would like to start a childcare business. Do you think you can help me? And I'm like, okay, so how far are you on starting? And they're like, so we've already found a location, and I'm just like, have you done your market research? Who are the people that are going to buy your product? Who's your target customer? What exactly do they want? What services do they want? And they actually have no answers. 6, volunteer in a similar business in the industry that you want to go to. Heck, volunteer in your competitor's business if you have to. And be honest with them. I have so many people that work in the Cradle that want to start up their own child care centers, and they've come to the Cradle to learn. You see, the thing about volunteering, you've got to be able to be in a place of Ubuntu. Give so that you can learn. The last thing you want to do is enter someone's business, pretend that you're just an employee, yet you want to start the same very business. Then you copy and paste and go and start your own business. I'm telling you, honey, what's going to happen is karma. And you know, karma is a female dog. What's going to happen is someone is going to come to your business and do exactly the same thing. So what you want to do is go to a business that's similar to yours or what you want to create and say, hey, I would like to volunteer. I would like to give 1 year of my service at absolutely no cost, where I can share some of the ideas that I have and where I can learn from what you're going through. And I want to get the experience in starting a business like this. And then see if they can say yes or no. Now, I can assure you, some people won't say yes. But look for a place where you can volunteer that will say yes for you learning so you can start your own business. 7, get the courage and leave the job. You have the money, you have the networks, you have the research, and you have experience. Girl, you're ready to leave now. Leave, like actually leave. Yeah, leave. Because then 8, the last thing you want to do is to create, position, maintain, and communicate a personal brand that can help you sell your entrepreneurship venture. That's one of the things that I absolutely loved about what I did in moving from corporate to entrepreneurship. I've built a personal brand based on the things that, on my purpose and the things that I love to do or that I'm doing right now. And just knowing that people buy from you and not from your business is such an important thing to remember, because then it will encourage you on how to build your very own personal brand. This week we started the 5-week practical guide to discovering your purpose. It's not too late for you to join, so you can join actually. But right after it, the real reason for finding out your purpose is to help you build a personal brand, even if you realize you still want to stay in your workplace. It helps you build a personal brand that can sell you both in the workplace, in the corporate workplace, or as an entrepreneur when you start your very own business. Because people buy from people and not from businesses. Until next time, I can't wait to see you. Bye-bye. Oh yeah, like, subscribe, comment. You know that thing we do? Yeah.